Hello everyone and welcome back to World of Warships Blitz with Terry. Today we are looking at the Hsienyang, I hope I pronounced that correctly, and I actually wanted to review the Hsienyang quite a while ago, and I'm kind of glad that didn't, because in the recent update the Hsienyang, together with I think one or two other Pan-Asian destroyers, has been slightly nerfed. So if you remember, she had, I think, her torpedo damage reduced and her torpedo reload increased by about 5 seconds. So it's good that we're looking at her today, because that way we're actually going to see how she plays after this. Anyway, the Hsienyang is the tier 8 Pan-Asian destroyer from the tech tree line, and obviously, as most of the Pan-Asian destroyers, is actually not originally built from there. This used to be the USS Rodman. Now the USS Rodman was a Gleaves class destroyer, and it says right here it's a Gleaves class. The Gleaves class were effectively Bensons. I think the only difference between the Gleaves and the Bensons was that the Gleaves class had a slightly less complicated propulsion system. Other than that, they are pretty much similar. Now the USS Rodman, towards the end of the war, or slightly after, I can't quite remember, was actually turned into a minesweeper. So she had one of her turrets removed and had her torpedo tubes removed and was a minesweeper. She was then handed over to Taiwan and the Republic of China and was then turned into the Hsienyang. Now this isn't the only destroyer in the Taiwanese Navy that was carrying the name Hsienyang. There was another one, but that's not the one we have here. The one we have here is the USS Rodman, former USS Rodman, now the Hsienyang. So, do we have a tier 7 ship in tier 8? What's going on? Do we have torpedo tubes? Yes, we do have torpedo tubes, because by the magic of editing, torpedo tubes have reappeared. There would be a sore loss if they hadn't. So, what do we have here? We basically have an American destroyer. She is very reasonably sturdy, so she can hold her own in a gunfight, and she has to, because this is a Pan-Asian destroyer, so we're talking deep water torpedoes. She cannot torpedo other ships. She doesn't have to. I mean, she cannot torpedo other destroyers, the rest obviously. She doesn't have to torpedo destroyers, because she has a very reasonable and respectable maneuverability. And she has 4 American 127mm main guns, which, well, again, is not quite as much as you have on the American main line, but they are very, very good guns. She got just over 3 seconds reload, a good range of 8.5, and they do a very reasonable amount of armor-piercing damage with these things. Plus, the turrets are super quick on the turn. The torpedoes, and this is where the nerf came in. They used to do, I think, a little bit more damage, and they used to reload in about 63 seconds. They're now taking 68 seconds to reload. But we do get 2 center-mounted quintuple launchers of deep water torpedoes. And the torpedo range is excellent with 8.7 kilometers compared to, I think the Benson has about 6.6 or so. So it's extremely difficult for the like mid or lower upper tier American destroyers to actually stealth torp. She has some AA, again, probably due to her American destroyer heritage, and in my setup at least, a very reasonable surface detection of 5.3 kilometers. The ship skills mean that she gets the engine accelerator and the smoke screen. In this way, she is very similar to the American destroyers, but she also gets a radar, which is extremely useful, I find, because more often than not you find yourselves in situations where you have to deal with other destroyers who can smoke up. Well, they can try. So what makes this ship great? Well, in my opinion, first of all, this is a really, really great ship. I'm thoroughly enjoying the Pan-Asian destroyer line. It's the versatility. So let's have a quick look at the actually American tech tree. So we said it was a Benson. So did we say Benson? Was it a Benson? Yes, it was a Benson, right? Yeah. So the Tier 8 destroyer, very similar in setup, gets one more gun. But with 6.9 kilometers, you can kind of stealth torp, but you do have to work for it, and it is coming very close. Whereas the Pan-Asian line has a much longer range on the torpedoes, so you can totally be a stealth torp boat. You can also be a gunboat, because again, while you don't get 5 guns, you only get 4 guns, but it's the same excellent guns that you would find over here. So that said, how have I set her up? I've gone with the escort specialization because the traverse was already excellent, and there was really no need to go for an additional 20%. This way we get more speed, which is really good, and we get more AA damage, which isn't really a big thing, but it's a thing. We've already talked about ship skills, so let's go to the equipment. I generally build my Pan-Asian destroyers for hybrids because, first of all, oftentimes they have very good guns. We had this with the Fushun already in Tier 6, which is a Gnevny, which has very good Soviet guns, and this thing as well has relatively good American guns. So I have her on main battery mod 2 for slightly faster reload, just so she can, you can pass the time while you're waiting for your torpedoes to reload. I've got the propulsion mod in slot 2 for dogfights with enemy destroyers, and I actually built them for concealment as well. Because if you are in situations where you don't have to dogfight enemy destroyers, and there are no carriers, and there are a lot of battleships, this ship on stealth mode can bully enemy ships to such an extent that she can just be really annoying. Without using the guns, you can hold off a group of battleships from pushing the flank simply by just dropping torpedoes into their wake all the time. So I quite enjoy the concealment build, which allows me to outspot enemy destroyers, because again, it means I get the first salvo off, I get to surprise them, and if I need to, I can stop firing my guns and I can disengage and just stealth torp bigger ships if I don't have anything else to do. And at the same time, the rest of the build is for the capability of actually dealing with enemy destroyers. The commander that I'm sailing in here, he's got underwater protection and torpedo alert in 1 and 2. Obviously preheating and victorious charge. You don't need the air defense expert. Actually, let's have a look. Let's have a very quick look further up. If you may need the air defense expert, no, you don't, because it's engine, accelerator, smoke, and radar. So that's kind of where you're shining. Then Daredevil for me, because I do tend to play these ships extremely aggressively and just zip around and make people's life very unpleasant if I can, unless I'm in a situation that warrants going stealth. And again, then I have the capability to do this. I can become a Japanese destroyer on a flip of a finger, just simply by stop firing my guns and use my torpedoes. Exploit weakness makes sense because you will try to set things on fire and torpedo them. And I do have the fully prepared for having more repair kits begin, because first of all, it's the only thing that makes sense here, and the second of all, it'd be the thing that allows for a bit of a more aggressive playstyle. Obviously, the Mistweaver is a skill that I'm extremely looking forward to get eventually. Plus, the engine overload is very useful as well. And yeah, obviously, eventually, the Giant Hunter would be a good skill to have on these things. So what do we got? We have a versatile multi-role ship that can be played both as an American destroyer and as a Japanese destroyer. She can, to a degree, even work as a destroyer hunter if you know what you're doing, because she does have the radar and all the kind of things. And you have the very quick deep water torpedoes, which waka punch. So great ship all in all. Let's have a quick look through the honor missions. 15 battles, 35 caps, 25 battleships, and 50 floods. Yeah, this is all just, bread and butter of what you're going to do with this ship. I have the Seaborne Assault camo on. If you feel like keeping the ship and putting the historical on, you get better main battery firing range and torpedo range. Again, playing into both the gunboat and the torpedo boat role. You get better traverse speed and better surface detection. So this is an all-around good choice if you decide that tier 8 that this is a tier 8 destroyer to keep. This is an all-around excellent ship in my opinion, because of this capability of being, you know, very useful in all kinds of situations. Anyway, enough talk, let's fight. I was recording a couple of battles and I was kind of hoping I would get one where I could just go stealth and just, you know, bully battleships, but alas, it wasn't to be. I was up against carriers and destroyers, so you get to see, well, what are you going to do in these kind of situations with a ship that can't torpedo enemy destroyers? In the first battle, we are top tier, but we are in a situation that you really don't want to be in or so you'd think on paper, in a Pan-Asian destroyer, because we're playing Cage on center control, and we're playing against 4 enemy destroyer. One of them being a Benson, the other one being a Leningrad. These are really not things you want to get up against. Plus there's the Bayar in the enemy team. So not an ideal situation. So what do? Do you go hide? Do you try to loop around and try to hunt the battleships and leave the fight for the center cap to our destroyers? Well, we've got a Kaguro and an Aka, so they're not particularly suited for that either. So yeah, we're going in. That's the way to do it. No carriers, so we can do spotting. And again, this is where the stealth build comes into play. We do need to cap. So putting the torpedoes to narrow spread. Not going to be using them against enemy destroyers, obviously. But switching over to armor piercing, because we are going to hunt destroyers. And I'm going to loop the long way around, because there's going to be a whole bunch of torpedoes coming into through the middle. And just gently letting the team know that it might be a great idea to cap. Apparently one of our cruisers disagrees. Okay, Shappy, that's all right then. You do you. I mean, 4 destroyers, and you're in a Shapayev, you probably want to shoot at those, but okay, that's fine. All right, so we'll get into the capture circle, and oh, there's the Aka, first customer. So he was coming around the flank. I've just outspotted him, but I've been close enough, so we can start opening up. And he's not firing, so he probably has torpedoes away, and it's just trying to go undetected at this point. There's no need to smoke up yet because no one's shooting back at me. Okay, there come some shots in. I think that's the Leningrad. Yeah, the Aka was probably trying to torpedo me, but that's not going to work. I've seen these coming from a mile away, and now we're starting to get more fire. These might be Leningrad torps. I'm not 100% sure. But there are plenty of destroyers around here. There's some more torpedoes. Yeah, it's all good. Just trying to think if I want to go stealth or if I'm going to take on the Leningrad. I mean, it is a Soviet destroyer, but it's only a tier 7. And he seems to be kind of stuck there. So, okay, well, let's head behind the island and let's just open up on the Leningrad and make him regret to sit there. I mean, Leningrad has a reload boost. So he's obviously outgunning me, but that's all right. He's now coming under concentrated fire and decides that he doesn't want to be there anymore. So we've pushed him out of the capture circle, and there's a destroyer right in front of us. Who's that? Oh, the Jervis. Hello, Jervis. Okay, now let's take you under fire. And he smokes up, but Jervis has these things have fuel smokes, right? So I don't think it's actually worth using my radar for that. Because, oh look, the Aka is back. Okay, so let's take him under fire and just put the island in between myself and the Jervis so I don't take any Jervis torps. Yep, there they come. Spotted them early, so anyone who's on the receiving end of those can hopefully spot them as they come. And there's the Leningrad again. So you see, we're okay. Bayar and Amagi and the other battleship are outside the capture circle, so it's all up to the destroyers. Now the Leningrad smokes up. Now this is the time to use the radar, because it's not going to do you any good, buddy. Because we have multiple ships shooting at the Leningrad. So keeping the Leningrad spotted means that look at this. These are Shapayev shots coming in. Of course, he's firing high explosive, but there she goes, dead Leningrad. And that was a good use of the radar. Now let's keep firing at the Jervis. Jervis is firing high explosive at me as well, but I'm running relatively low on HP at this point, so I'm just going to keep the island between myself and the destroyers to wait for my damage con to come off cooldown. And we are controlling the cap, so the ball is in the field of the other team, and it looks like one of their destroyers is kind of playing outflanking. So it's me plus 2 battleships. Excellent play from my team here. Both battleships in the capture circle. That's what you want to see. So we're taking Yaka under fire. And again, I think the Shapi has changed his. I'm not sure if that was the Shapi, but someone's been blapping him quite nicely. So he's thinking twice about coming back. And the Jervis is around somewhere there, but I'm gonna leave the Jervis to the other guys. Our cruiser is keeping that flanking destroyer at bay back there, and we can go and kill that Akka. There she goes. Okay, next up, Amagi. Okay, now we're switching to the high explosive. So we are controlling the cap, and I have recovered a little bit of health. So let's see if I can drop some torpedoes onto the Amagi. I'm just gonna try and get a bit closer. But because the Amagi is probably going to start torp dodging. I mean, he sees me coming. Let's see what he can pull. Let's see. He's in a full turn, which means his guns are now pointing in the wrong direction. But there is the Bayard, so I will have to be a little bit careful. So I don't want to be too close to that thing. Okay, the Amagi is definitely seeing me now as a threat. Now, if the Bayard is making up his mind to shoot at me, and because that Akka there is going to be dead, I better drop my torps now. Amagi looks like he's turning away, so we'll just drop a widespread, smoke up, and because look at the Bayard. The Bayard's actually coming around, so he's probably going to take some of those torps. There you go. Yep, turned right into those, didn't you? That's going to hurt. Okay, so yeah, that's 3-4 hits on the Bayard plus a couple of on the Amagi. That was worth it, and we're smoking up. I don't think Bayard has hydro or radar. Can't remember. But we don't want to stick around here, so we do want to get away. But, you know, there's really no reason to stop firing your guns. You don't need to go stealth. Just keep it up. Keep up the fire at the Amagi. See if we can set a fire. Oh, the Amagi is firing high explosive at me. This is going to hurt. Yep, triple fire. Okay. Clever player. It's always refreshing to see battleship captains doing the right thing. But obviously he doesn't have a chance. We're just playing with our food here at this point. It would have really been the job of the Bayard to kill the destroyers here and get stuck in, but he's trying to do long range. He's trying to do some long range shots, although this might have been Amagi shells still. But now I'm undetected, and I'm out of heals. I'm down to 2.9k, but that's fine. We can still do a couple of things here and support the rest of our team. But this battle is decided. We've held the cap for almost the whole time. Okay, Bayard, where are you going? Are you going to turn in, or are you going to come around the island? It looks like you're turning in. Okay, so I'm going to drop some torpedoes because there's only 50 seconds left, and the Bayard doesn't see me, so the Benson is rushing him. He might run into some, or at the very least, it's forcing him to dodge torps, which means he's going to give broadside to that Benson who's rushing him. And that means the Benson has a clean kill shot. And meanwhile, I'm just going to use the guns because there's an island in between. At this range, I'm actually going to use armor piercing against the extremely lightly armored Bayard because I don't think he's actually looking at me. But yeah, he had to dodge torps, and he's probably going to run straight into this Benson, these Benson torps because he's now firing at me. And yeah, the Benson takes him out. Well done. And yeah, we still have got some hit points. This is fine. We can still get some parting shots up. I think respect to the Amagi. He's been really. I mean, aside from the fact that he's not in the capture circle, he's been doing a good job dueling with us destroyers here. But yeah, you don't have to be afraid of enemy destroyers and of taking on enemy destroyers, because you don't have the torpedoes to hit them. You have guns. And they're pretty good guns. So that was fun. So even in situations like these, which seem like they're very unsuitable for you as a Pan-Asian destroyer, you can totally, you know, still pull your weight and do the right thing. Compliment to the Amagi for doing well there. I mean, in a Japanese battle cruiser, what are you going to do in a center cap? Anyway, let's do another one. And once again, not an ideal situation. We've got an Enterprise on the enemy team, so we have to expect to be spotted. 2 North Carolinas, a West Virginia, and there's an Atlanta, plus a Benson and a Lightning. Both decent players by the looks of it. So the bottom 3 are kind of the ones I'm gonna have to watch out for. Let's go. So what do? Again, you could try to sneak your way around around the sides and do some long-range torp drops onto these battleships. But with the... I mean, you can drop from about 5 kilometers and your torpedoes are almost doing 70 knots. So if you manage to go unspotted, fine. That's great. But you're gonna have... There's only one way to find out. And the first one is going to be to see if which way the carrier goes, and the second one is going to be to, well, go and spot, because I'm probably going to be able to outspot both of these destroyers. Now, I'm waiting a little bit with rushing ahead, just to see if there's an early carrier start. Just notifying our carrier that it would be grand if we could get some spotting here, because we're going to get a destroyer on this side. This is almost decided. But the carrier is doing the other side, which is fine. Okay, he spots one destroyer, who seems to be heading this way. So that's good to know. I don't know where the other destroyer is. I'm not sure I would fly my fighters or waste my fighters like this, but for a scout I would use the dive bombers probably. But okay, there's the Atlanta as well. And there's going to be a second destroyer here somewhere. Yeah, we've got the Benson, so there's the Lightning. Found you. You see, I outspot him, so which means I can get into a kiting position. And I'm already on the armor piercing, and I can open up, get first shots off. Now he's not shooting back, which means he's probably going to get torpedoes away. Now he's shooting back and he's smoking. That's not going to help you, buddy, because I've got radar. So I can smoke up, and your smoke's not going to give you anything, and I'm going to dodge your torps. And in the meantime, I can keep firing my guns at you. So even though on paper, I might be not the one with a superior ship here, I do definitely have some trump cards, and now he's hydroing me. It's a bit late to do that because my smoke just expired, but I've been able to chink half his health off, and I have barely lost any hit points myself. Now I'm kiting away again, just making sure not to stand still, and he's not firing his guns again. So maybe he's trying to get torpedoes away. He's about to run into an island. So probably there's a torpedo spread coming. So I'm just gonna, keep the pressure up by casually turning away. There's a battleship of our own here. There's a Gasconia. Excuse me, sir. I need to turn my ship around. Yeah, the Gasconia knows that there was a destroyer because I spotted him. Because the carrier is on the other side, so he knows there are torpedoes coming, and there they go. And the Gasconia has dodged them all. Well done, Gasconia. See, this is why you spot as a destroyer. Now the Lightning has buggered off because he's lost most of his health, and he was probably going to lose that gunfight with me. So I can now go back. I know that he's there around somewhere, but I also know that there's a battleship. So maybe we get a torpedo run now. The enemy team's lost one battleship so far, and it looks like our team is pushing hard around the side, where with a battleship and a cruiser. Okay, what's that North Carolina doing? I can still get a little bit closer. I've got an almost 5 kilometer detection radius. I should be able to outspot the Lightning. There he is again. Hello, Lightning. Okay, I know you're there, but I don't want to play with you right now. I want to torpedo the North Carolina. Okay, now I'm spotted because the Lightning's been actually turning this way. Okay, let's get some shots out. Let's get some torpedoes out because the North Carolina is firing at someone else. So hopefully he's zoomed in. Okay, I can smoke up here again. Yeah, okay, no, sorry, no, North Carolina has seen me. These torpedoes were not meant for the Lightning. Obviously, they can't hit him. I'm just gonna smoke up and just wait for the Lightning's fuel smoke to expire, which should happen before mine up. Okay, so he's got the Hydra up again, but I don't know where his torpedoes are. He might have a torpedo spread away. So let's get him down for a little bit further, because the North Carolina is shooting back at us as well now, and we're quite alone here. But we're putting pressure up this flank, and by the looks of it, given that the other flank is pressured as well. Okay, we've just lost one of our battleships, but they've taken out the Benson, and I'm not sure if these people are paying attention to me. But okay, I'll leave the Lightning alone. Someone else can kill this thing at some point. Oh, I'll get back to you maybe. We'll find out. Because there's an Atlanta there somewhere as well, but I just want to kill that West Virginia. The one torp spread should be sufficient, and then we sent the other one out against the Enterprise, who seems to be stationary, so we'll have some torpedoes. And that's the West Virginia dead, so now we can start shooting up the Enterprise. And just generally run around and cause mayhem, I'd say. This is kind of what we want to do. That's 1, 2, 3 torpedo hits. Enterprise has realized that he needs to move, but it's too little too late. I keep him spotted. The battleships got shots out at him. Now the Atlanta is going to shoot at me. And probably, I mean, this is an Atlanta, right? He's going to kill me. I'm under half health. And the Enterprise is dead. Well done, Gascogne. Oh, that was the Gascogne from earlier. Okay, so we're just going to rush to North Carolina. I don't want to deal with the Atlanta. He's probably going to kill me, and that's fine. But maybe I can take the North Carolina down with me. And the Jervis is still around somewhere. So, I'm trying to set a fire. But no luck so far. And yes, there's a steady stream of pain coming in from the Atlanta. Okay, there's the lightning. So what we're going to do is we drop the North Carolina, and then either the Atlanta kills me first. Okay, so he's damage conned. So one spread, I'm not sure if one spread... Okay, now one spread would have been enough probably. But anyway, okay, so that thing's dead. Can we kill the lightning? Oh, we're on 74 health. The Atlanta is going to kill us first. But we've almost killed the... There we go. We've almost killed the lightning still as well. You see, this is what I'm... he was healing, so probably not. But this is what I'm talking about. You can absolutely take on enemy destroyers in a Hsienyang. Because you are, by pedigree, an American gunboat. But you can also do, you know, stealth runs and just drop torpedoes from out of line of sight if there's nothing around that spots you. So let's just have a quick look and see how the rest of the battle plays out. But yeah, the carrier is going to spot the Atlanta, and there's the lightning. Valiant effort, people, but oh, nice dodge from the Massachusetts. So he's not taking any of those torps, and he's firing at the Atlanta. Atlantas are difficult to hit at long range, but if you can hit them, and these fighters are probably not going to last long in the Atlanta's AA. There goes one, but I think the lightning is going to die. It's probably going to... No, he survives the dive bombers, but they keeps them spotted. And there comes some torpedo bombers, and the lightning dodges the shots, and he smokes up wisely but that's a good torpedo drop. That's an excellent torpedo drop. Yep, he catches him with the torpedoes. Well done. Well done, carrier. So, yeah, you can run riot in the ship, and you can also do pretend to be a Japanese destroyer and be sneaky. You can take on enemy destroyers. There's a lot of things that you can do with these ships that they are really, really well suited for. And I am thoroughly enjoying the Hsienyang because of that versatility that she has. So obviously, yeah, you're not going to outgun enemy destroyers that easily, but you can always do your part, really. And yep, we have done 40,000 damage with the torpedoes and almost 30,000 damage with the guns. Don't forget the guns on these things. These are multi-role ships. They are both great torpedo boats and great gunboats. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks everybody, and I'll see you next time. Bye.